This podcast is powered by As Always Entertainment. If you enjoy this content, consider becoming a patron over on patreon.com/asalways. Other than to support this show for just $1 a month or more, you get access to over 50 exclusive episodes of the Kill Connor Clubhouse podcast that release every week the Kill Connor Club podcast isn't on. You also get a week's early access to the SpoilerCast show, The Cinema Room, and plenty of cool perks such as being part of polls for future videos on our channels, as well as other early access material. With that said, please enjoy the podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Room podcast, the SpoilerCast podcast where we talk all things movies, video games and TV show seasons with full spoilers. This episode is Stranger Things 3. I am one of your hosts, Tyler, joined as always by James.
As always, how's it going?
Good mate, good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
That's the way. Good to hear. Obviously this podcast Cinema Room is brought to you by the great people over on patreon.com/as always. So to thank our producers, King Richard III, Kassassin, Elstico91, Seth, and Josh Devillier for making this podcast happen. It wouldn't exist without that support. So again, today, Stranger Things 3, full spoiler. So if you haven't seen the third season of Stranger Things on Netflix, go finish it, go start it, whatever you need to do. And once you're finished, and you're dealing with the emotions afterwards, and you've had a little bit of a cry or a laugh, I don't know, depending if you're a sociopath or not, I don't know, then come back and listen to this episode of the Cinema Room, and where we can spoil it and talk about it and discuss it, and what's coming next, what we thought of the season, reviewing it, that sort of shit. And again, if you like what you're listening to here and you want to hear more, patreon.com/as always, you get exclusive podcasts, the Kill Connor Clubhouse, that's on every week. The Kill Connor Club isn't on, our other podcast. And this third podcast, you get access to a week early if you're a patron. For just $1 a month, you get all that goodness, plus plenty of extra perks if you want to pledge more, like these $5 pledges, plus get read on this list. So to thank a few of those sweet vintage lads, we have King Richard III, Kassassin, Elstico91, Seth, Ballsack47, Josh Devillier, Damian, Billy the Team Tynamite Captain Robertson, Tman Travis, Baby Boy, the Saviour of the Story Thread, KEMOSABE Gamer, Casey Wood, Pink Flame 313, Adam Sundling, Alfie Rowsell, Jamie Brown, Lumistrad, Mario5380, Is Gay, ArunWyn, Fat Fuck Cuck, Brendon, RAVJAI, Julli, Craig, Oscar, Benedict Parker Returns, James the Lad, Connor Durose Bully in the Alley, Zahir the FAT Gamer, Max H. Jean, Zeek Collins, Son of a Bitch, Ogeaidogo, George, Dammit Glenn, Furious Coco, the ACMJS, Kyle, Sandor the Pussy Slayer, S. Jaws, Marcus Blackburn, Emil Katborg, Joshua Mora, Ginko Swag, Mass the Bass, Yazen, Joe the Sexy Boi Smith, Joe, A.K.A FoundedScarab, H+12 got Lumbago, Alfie Rodbert, Brian Ford, Casper, Milkboy Shields, Fishy, or Ethan Woodgates, Andreu Martinez, and Fanaclers on YouTube. Thanks to Sweet Vintage Lads for helping power this podcast. Alrighty, James.
Yeah.
Here we are. Welcome. How are you? You're alright?
Wonderful.
You're still there? Yeah, that's
Brilliant.
good.
I'm
Fantastic. Yep, good to hear. Good to hear. Stranger Things 3. I just finished it about half an hour ago or so. You finished it the other day.
I did.
Just in general, based on... I'll tell you what. Give me your thoughts going in. Like, where do you stand with Stranger Things as it was going into the season, and then how do you feel now after season 3?
I mean, it had been a while, right, since season 2. They left it like... Was it more than 2 years, or was it... No, it's just sort of less than 2 years.
A year and a half, almost 2 years, yeah.
Yeah. So it had been a bit. I remembered it fondly as a series that I enjoy. But I didn't necessarily go in with any expectations. It was sort of like, oh yeah, Stranger Things is back. That's great. I'll watch it. That'll be fun. So I suppose I didn't really go much. I didn't expect much other than, this will probably be a good time, because it has been a good time, which is, it's great. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's the end of that. Yeah. Okay. I don't know where I was going.
Cool. That's good. I like where your head's at. I like where we're sitting right now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, nice. No, that's good. No, you know what? That's good.
You're welcome. That's my contribution for this podcast. We just wrap up.
So, guys, I'll be taking over for the rest of the podcast. Don't worry about James.
Oh, God. I had a fucking stroke. Jesus Christ.
That was weird.
My brain switched off. All right. Yeah. Yeah. You can take over.
So what did you think of season 3 then after that, James? What did you know?
I liked it. I thought it was great. I think that something this show does really well is handle character. The plot's always been good, and I really like the whole sort of, I don't know, the world building of the show. It's always been this combination of 80s movies with, there's a little bit of sort of a modern aspect to it as well. It's not purely trying to capture 80s, but that's a huge part of it, as well as, you know, a lot of 80s movies from, you know, stuff from that era, which is good, and they did a lot of that this season. So I always love the world building and stuff. The main plot's always good. We could talk a little bit about that a little bit later on, but the main thing I love is character, and I think they nailed that again this season, showing all the characters growing up and you know, how they're changing and how they're, you know, adapting and developing as characters, and I think that's done really well, and I really like that. And I think the highlight of me for Stranger Things since season 1, and no different here, is the characters. So I think that's something that I loved.
Yeah, absolutely. I for sure echo that, and I think going into this third season, I don't know, like I was like you, it had been a while, so the hype's kind of gone a bit. And I watched season 1 and 2 back to back. Like, I started watching Stranger Things when season 2 came out, and I'd heard about it the whole year before it, about how good this first season was and whatnot. And I watched the first season, really liked it, but I was like, that is definitely not worth the hype everyone talked about. But then I went straight to the second season, obviously, and I thought this second season was so far superior to the first in every way. Even though lots of people don't think that. I know it's more like, feels like 50-50 from who I talk to, what they like better, but I much preferred the second season. I thought the characters really grew. The story was way better. It was just a more entertaining thing. There's just like one episode in it that's just like average, like the second to last episode, the third to last episode, where like 11's off on this weird adventure, like randomly.
That whole
like,
fucking arc was weird.
Yeah,
Why was that part of it?
Yeah. That other than that one episode, the whole thing is amazing. Like, that's how that's sort of what I think. But most people, when they say second season sucked, they go to that one episode. I'm like, yeah, it's one episode, guys. I get it. It was one episode, but in every season there's 8 episodes, except in that second season there's 9. So there's 8 good ones. Like, there's 8 good ones in the first and 8 good ones in the third. But there's that one fucking weird one that's just like, okay, let's pretend that didn't happen, and then we move on with our lives. Yeah. But this third season, I don't know where I stack it up, because I just finished it, right? Like, in terms of season 1 and 2, maybe somewhere in the middle. I really enjoyed it. It definitely ended really strong. And it felt really fast-paced too. Like, it went quick. 8 episodes went very fast.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, holy shit, we're at the end already. It didn't feel like a lot happened, or a lot of time passed. Like, season 1, it felt like it dragged on with a lot of different storylines and a lot of like waiting for something to happen. I felt like there was always stuff happening in this season. There wasn't a lot of waiting. There wasn't a lot of as much mystery of like, well, what's happening. They kind of solved lots of things quite quickly, which, you know, good and bad in some ways. But great again to see the characters. Great again to see the world develop and build. And you know, I like where it ended up too. I have some criticism, I think, just based on, I felt like I've seen this, like, the storyline was different, right? But I just felt like the threat we've seen now twice.
Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah, I think that's my biggest criticism for season 3 is that it's different, but it's also the same, and
the exact same.
I feel like we need a bit of direction here rather than it's really like season 1, season 2, and season 3 are all these individual. We got to fight monsters, and that's sort of it. But it's like, why? Like, what are these things? Why do they exist? Why does this other dimension exist? Why are people trying to open it? Like, I want a purpose for why these stories are being told. I don't know whether that's the point of the show. It's just the point of the show is to have these kids facing this sort of threat, and that's not really the point. You're not meant to know about that. But I think that when you're building this world and the threat is such a prominent thing, like, it's, you know, I want some explanation and I want some purpose, and, you know, where's this show going? What's the point of it? And how are they going to conclude it? Because it's sort of the same thing over and over and over again. And it's not necessarily bad. It's just, I think they could maybe do a little bit better with regards to that. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. I guess we'll get into some specifics now. If we want to go back to the start of the season, where we kind of just pick up. It's been... was it specific about how much time had passed between the end of Season 2 and the start of Season 3? It was like a year?
Was it a year? Yeah. I mean, well, it was a year. They did that whole time jump of it started with the Russians, and then it was like 1 year later, and we were back with our characters, but it's never stated when that Russian thing happens.
Sure, but it had to have happened after Season 2, because
yeah.
what they were doing was opening the gate. Hang on, look, I'm sure we can Google this, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think it's at least a year after Season 2, but I think it might have been a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe 18 months. Look at this. How much time passed between each season?
Oh, you know what? I think it was maybe it was less than a year. Because last one was Halloween, right? And now we're in the summer. Surely it's the summer following.
Well, the second season picks up in October of 1984. They celebrate Halloween a little bit. Time passes before Chapter 1. The Gate. Season 3 takes place in summer 1985.
Yeah, so it's less than a year. So
less than a year. Okay, I see. Close to a year, but yeah, less than.
Yeah.
So they're all the kids are now like 13, though they look so much older. Obviously.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, but yeah, it is what it is. It's gonna happen. They've all just like watching this first episode. I'm just like, oh, all of them just puberty's just like on every single one of these kids.
Yeah, they look
just
so much
super hard. Yeah, and they tried really hard to make even the older kids that have obviously in their 20s look different, with all the hairstyles have all of a sudden changed within 6 months. Like in a year, like everyone's dressing different and fucking 80s references and shit. What's going on this year? Stuff like that. And it was I really loved just seeing everyone come back, and I had those moments of like when they're at Ahoy and Steve shows up, I audibly go, oh, Steve's there, different characters that I really, really loved. Because I think going into this season, I loved every character, but there's specific characters that I was so underwhelmed by this season in particular, whereas others really stood out to me. Obviously, I'm going to go with, firstly, who was just, to me, left in the dust this season. Absolutely just pointless, almost, which was Nancy and Jonathan. Those two felt like... I don't know what it was about them. They just felt like they were kind of forgotten about a bit, and they were thrown in.
Yeah, I can see that.
They were such an important part of season 1 and 2, and I think as well they also had story arc of their relationship. There was no real character development for either of them. They had the sort of job thing in the early episodes.
Yeah.
But other than that, what changed from the start of the season for them and the end?
Yeah, it's sort of like they were there to serve plot. Like they had that job, and that let them investigate what was going on, and so then that let the plot develop.
But what did they even add to the plot? Like, their investigation? Like, what did it add to information? What information did they get that wasn't already had by like everyone else? Eventually, it's a genuine question. Like, I forget.
There was the rat. Was that?
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, but what did that... Yeah.
I think it was more... I think more their scenes were to allow the viewer to see certain stuff. Like, if Nancy and Jonathan weren't in that house with the rat, we never would have seen the rat, like, explode and turn into a little blob monster thing.
But we saw the rats all at the end of the episode.
Yeah, we saw them all explode, but we never saw them turn into anything. Until we saw that one rat. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. I'm like, it kind of felt like... They didn't do anything that significant. They were just sort of there, and they had no real character development or moment at the end. It was just like, they're still in love.
Yeah, they weren't as important as they were in previous seasons. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Not at all. And there was just no really big development for them, of their relationship. They just sort of had an argument. They were in love at the start, had an argument, episode 3, got over at episode 4 and then were still in love at the end. Nothing. You know what I mean? There was no real big character moments for either of them. They were just sort of there because they're in the group.
Yeah, that's true. They did take a bit of a backseat this time.
Yeah, weird. Weird to me, that's all. Weird to me. In terms of the kids crew, big, awesome new addition to... Because one of my favourite parts about Season 2 was Dustin and Steve's storyline, their relationship, how they kind of got accidentally paired together and became this sort of big brother, little brother combo. And I really, really liked... really liked how that kind of went around. And then in this season, they added... what's her name?
Robin.
And she was, I think, a really great addition to that sort of group and storyline.
Yeah.
Not that fussed on Lucas's sister. I forget her name.
Erica.
Erica, that's it. Erica.
That's what I'm here for, reminding you of names.
Yeah. There's so many characters, forgot most of their names. And I used to know all their names, and honestly, watching this season, didn't pick them up again. Most of them did not pick up again. I've literally got the list in front of me. I'm trying to read off. Yeah, but Robin, I don't know about you, really liked her addition. She was a fun character.
Yeah.
Great gave Steve a good character development. Helped their sort of, and plus had good plot element to kind of push forward with her being a bit smart. And go on. And she was great in terms of, Steve developing. He's dealing with not being in high school anymore. He's not the coolest kid in school. He's got no future prospect. He's just sort of stuck in a rut. And she was a great character to kind of bring him out of that and into the real world a bit more. What do you think of Robin and that sort of their group?
I tell you what, I think, to be honest, I think that was my favourite parts of the show, of Season 3, was
that group,
was Dustin, Steve and Robin. I think those three together, that whole storyline and all of their chemistry, it was the best shit to watch, I think, to be honest. All the others, it was all good, everything was good to watch, but I think that was my favourite part. It was great shit. It was some of the best writing and character moments, and all their chemistry worked so well. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, they did have good chemistry. I liked Robin and Steve's chemistry, and there's undeniable between Dusty and Steve. That's why I think it works so well in Season 2, because I'm like, these two are fucking awesome together.
Yeah.
They're the two solo guys. In terms, they don't have siblings or girls. They're just kind of solo, and they still work together, and they've both got girls now, right? You've got Susie Pooh, and and Robin now in there, even though they've left a lot open with this Robin Steve storyline moving forward. I like that. They didn't kind of just resolve it. It's we're just friends. It's well, are you though? What is, I don't know.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen next? I'm interested to see. But I'm interested. Next season there'll be something to be intrigued by with whatever plot they've got going on. There's
Possibly.
progress. It's not going to be like Nancy and Jonathan, where it's nothing changes, nothing happens, no progress, no character moments for them really at all. Then you got the main group of kids, 11, Max, who's been a great addition, and I think she stood out more this season than last, is really in on the group. Will took a backseat again. There's a lot of back seats in this, honestly. This whole season felt like they really tried to share everything so much with all of the characters that only a couple stood out this season rather than a lot. Because Joyce and Jim Hopper, who were together, and, Hopper is a power character, hugely important to this show, and is, I think, moving forward if we talk about the post-credit scene. But the fact that they had huge storylines, and their storyline, it just didn't quite get me, man. I don't know, I found myself looking at my phone when they were doing shit. There's Russian dudes there. I kind of missed parts of their storyline because I was kind of bored. Hopper and Joyce.
Really? I really like their storylines. I thought they were great together.
I
like
like
they've always
them
been great together, and I think they were great in this season.
Exactly, like I liked them together, and I liked the kind of teasing of like going on a date, not going on a date, the standing up, the cluelessness, the tension that's been there for a while, and is kind of building to something like this, and I really liked it. But the further we got, I think in the middle of the season, I liked it at the start and I liked it at the end of this season. There's just a part in the middle there that just kind of lost me with what they were really doing and how important it was when they kind of were chasing down the Russian dude. He was kind of with them, not with them. Then he gets shot and they're looking for the kid. Like, it just... Because I felt like we already knew what was going on as an audience with the Russians and the plan. Like, there was no mystery or questions with what they were doing. We already knew what, before they did, what was going to happen.
Sure.
Like, when they're trying to get information, there was no tension at all. It's like, well, what's going on? Like, we already know. We're just waiting for them to fucking catch up. So, and this happened a few times this season, now that I think about it. There's a few times this season where the mystery's already been revealed to us as the audience, and we've got to wait for characters to catch up, and it kind of made me lose interest middle of the season. Episode 5 and 6, don't remember much of them, to be totally honest with you.
I mean, I couldn't tell you which episode was which, so I don't know if I can agree, right. But I think I get what you're saying. That did happen a few times. It never really... I don't think I ever really noticed it. I mean, I was just sort of enjoying the character moments, so I never really thought to myself, oh, the plots... I mean, well, actually, to be honest, I don't think that I thought about it while watching, but one of my criticisms has been the plot, because the character and you know, these moments of stuff are the standout of this season. But I think my biggest criticism is the overall narrative, and I think that is probably a reason why it's one of my criticisms, is because of how it was told this season. So, you know, that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I think, I mean, we're not going to get... We don't want to skip ahead. But, yeah, I get totally what you mean. The plot was the weak part, and I think there's reasons for it. I don't necessarily think it's because the plot was weak, or it was more of just how it was told and how it was done. Because, like I said, I think there wasn't a lot of mystery going in. We got a lot of answers very quickly. And the most interesting storyline was, as you said, I think the Steve Dusty one. And that was really because that was something new, rather we hadn't seen before. Whereas we kind of know how the Mind Flayer works. We know how the Upside Down works. We sort of can figure out what's going on just from seeing it. We didn't really need to be told, oh, well, you know, he's taking control of Billy's mind, and now this is happening, and they're recruiting an army. Like, you didn't need to be told that was happening. We could tell, we'd get it. The Russian storyline, we're like, well, what do the Russians have fucking to do with this? Like, why are they doing it? And they didn't really explain why they wanted to open it. Really, and that's what I think we're going to find out later, because that's what's the next season's going to follow, and we'll figure that out. But just finding out that Russians were involved somehow and they had that connection to it, that was the interesting stuff. That was the mystery to the show. And then when it came to what is really our main group, which is 11, who's the main character of the show, 11, Max, Mike, Will, and Lucas, that group of 5 kids. I mean, the first half of the season, they're just dealing with teenage shit, breakups, and, you know, the girl-boy relationship. And, like, I really enjoyed the first episode or two with Mike and 11. I was like, oh, it's so adorable. Like, you know, those two just, you know, being in love and stuff. Like, I was like, oh, that's great. Like, with all they've been through and whatnot. But when we got into the sort of meat and potatoes of this season, I don't know, it just felt like they were doing what we've already seen them do. Yeah.
No, yeah, I think that's my criticism, is that it's a lot of the same, and I think that this was an opportunity to develop further some of the background of these. Like, why is this shit happening? Why are these Russians involved? And, like, what, like, how do you develop this further? But it just sort of felt like there's just another big monster. And it's almost like that had to be there because it's Stranger Things. But really, it was a lot more about characters and their story with this. It almost felt like the main plot was sort of taking a backseat to what was really at the forefront, which was a lot of character stuff. Because it wasn't that impressive as a story. Like, it wasn't super interesting. Like, the other seasons were like, it was always interesting because we didn't know a lot about this, but now we sort of know how the world works and how, all of this supernatural stuff works, it's not interesting to see it again. We sort of need to take it further and introduce new things and give us reasoning for what's going on and, what that'll mean for the future of this series. Because it almost just felt like, it was almost like an Age of Ultron type thing. Like, just another sort of, another good sort of adventure in this world, but it wasn't really taking it to the next level, which is, I think, what they needed to do with this.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like, it didn't feel like it took it to the next level. It just felt like it told... Like, I don't want to see the Mind Flayer again, if I'm going to be real with you. Like, I don't need to see the Mind Flayer ever again in this show or this series. Like, it's over. They've dealt with it 3 times. And I felt like the second season was a real proper continuation from the first. Like, because there was, like, unfinished... unanswered questions, lack of understanding about what this world is, what they were really dealing with in that first season, and the consequences of what happened to Will and stuff came in. So to me, second season, I loved the way the story went, because to me it was a proper pickup from season 2. But then they closed the door. So season 3 was what? The Russians are there? Okay. That's the question, why the Russians are there. But they just reopen it, and then it's just, okay, they take another person. Again.
It was season 2 again, really. Even though
like the ending was the same as like close the gate. It just happened differently.
Yeah, and it was season 2 was like a continuation from 1, because it was like, okay, so they've got Will back now, but what happened to him while he was gone, and those consequences directly affect season 2, and that's what the story's about. But this one is like, okay, so when the thing left Will, a little bit was left behind, and now it's gonna do the same thing again, but with Max's brother. And they've just got to do that again. Like, I don't know, if it didn't feel like if season 4 starts, it's like, oh, he's back and he's taking over someone else, and that would just be fucking lame. So, yeah they need to push this further, really. Because, it does just feel almost like a retread.
Yeah, I think, I think a good way, I don't even know in terms of, like, ideas, personally, but looking at this season... it was really entertaining. Like, don't get me wrong, I feel like I'm shitting all over it. And I think it sounds like I'm shitting really all over it. But, like, I was really entertained by it. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's just when really looking at it, I did find myself kind of a bit out of it at times. And I definitely have criticisms of it. And I think it is because it isn't anything majorly new. It's just... it is an entertaining show to watch because you love the characters. You like the, you're supposed to love, and I do love this 80s setting, the time it's in. It's visually fun to look at. They have it in good locations with the mall and 4th of July festival, fair, and all these different things. It's great visually to watch. It's very well acted. These kids are amazing actors. All the actors are great. The characters are great. So it was easy to watch. It went very fast. It was constantly things going on. There wasn't a lot of slow moments at all in this season. And I was thoroughly entertained from start to finish. I really, really was. But it lacked tension. This season lacked tension majorly, because we're dealing with a problem we've already seen before, and I was at no point of the belief that they weren't going to be able to do it again, what they've already done. How am I supposed to, as an audience member, get invested and tense and worried for my characters that I love when their task is to do something I've already seen them achieve? So at no point was I really worried that they weren't going to be able to stop the Mind Flayer and close the gate. Because I've seen them do it before. Why would this be any different? And it wasn't. There was a couple of casualties, but I was still of the mind that I don't believe this person's gone, and I have reason to believe they're still not. If that makes sense. So my biggest criticism comes from, as much as I loved it, as entertaining as it was, and as much as I love these characters just as much now, if not more, than I did before watching this 3rd season, just because I've got to spend more time with them, and seeing them grow up is great. And I can't wait to watch these kids grow up, both as characters and as actors. They all seem like great kids. But storyline was a retread, And because that, the tension just wasn't there at all.
Yeah.
It allowed me to spend time staring at my phone while watching it, because I was never worried that I was going to miss anything major or someone's going to die or something. It was just, this is entertaining to watch, because, yeah. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about the season.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, it lacks that tension and it lacks any sort of mystery, because you already know a lot of it. And if there's anything you don't know, you're told pretty much instantly. And then a lot of it is watching them try and figure it out when you already know. So, yeah, it loses a lot of what season 1 and 2 had, and that was the strong points of it. And obviously what this season does, like we keep saying, is doing stuff with the characters. And I think that's what makes this season so good. If it didn't have that, and it was relying on plot, it would be really, really weak as a season. But because it has all of those other elements that make Stranger Things so interesting and so entertaining to watch, it doesn't fall flat, and it is still a really great season, and it's really good. But I think that, yeah, I mean, we've said everything we can about the plot. With season 4 has really got to take this further, do something more, introduce a new element, and just really sort of throw something new at them, so that they're not just like, oh well, yeah, we've already done this. We just got to figure this out, and we know how to do it. Like there needs to be something new for the audience and something new for our characters. So, and something bigger as well, not just something new, to really take it further and develop them and develop the story, and just do something new, do something bigger, and see where that takes everything.
What do you think? What do you think of the amount of characters there are? Because I think there's too many characters. And when I say that, I mean season 1 and 2, obviously all these characters are there, right? But there's a couple of main characters, and then everyone's in the background. Now, this season, because all these characters that are in the background are so great, everyone loves them all, right? But it's because they're great in their role. Mm-hmm. Now, you're trying to make everyone the main character and share all of the screen time and give everyone moments, and that was another thing that I think is a fault in this season, that it didn't really, to me, push any particular characters majorly forward, because there was so much going on with so many characters, rather than you've got Hopper and Eleven, you got Mike and Eleven's relationship, Jonathan and Nancy, and then everyone's sort of doing their own thing and connects and helping out those characters. Now it's like everyone has their own storyline, everyone has their own character moments, everyone has their own character development, everyone has their own sort of plot thread they've got to wrap up by the end. And so much is going on that I felt like I didn't really get enough time to spend with any major characters to really develop them.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I don't think it was a huge fault. I think that it could probably be better balanced next time, because characters like Will, Will has always taken a backseat. He's always felt like a background character, because he wasn't even in season 1 for most of it, because he was off in the Upside Down, and we were trying to find him. And then when he finally became a main character, it almost felt like he didn't, like he does fit in, but almost like you were so used to season 1 having, the main group, which Will wasn't really a part of because he wasn't around. So when you get to season 2, it almost feels like he doesn't fit in, and then, I don't know, I feel like the development's sort of all a bit skewed there. And then, yeah, in season 3, he takes a big backseat compared to, like, Mike and Lucas are much, bigger characters. And then you've got other characters, like, you got newer characters that take, more of a front seat than Will does, who's meant to be one of the main characters, but they've never really done anything with him. I feel like he's always just sort of been in the background for most of the show.
And he's kind of a bitch.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a bitch, isn't he? And it's funnier in this season because he looks a lot older, but he still acts like really young. A bitch, yeah, he looks drastically older.
I'm like, hey, dude, yeah. He's like, let's play Dungeons and Dragons, guys. Stop making out. It's okay, okay.
Poor Will. Oh god, he's just a late bloomer, but he doesn't look like he is, but he is meant to be in the show.
Yeah, and then like there's that moment at the end where like he's wearing clothes that like a tiny little 5'2" 13-year-old be wearing, but he's like taller than his mum, but significantly. Is that moment I was like, fuck, he's tall. Like, well, he's really big. Why is he dressed like that?
Oh,
like,
he looks
really odd. He looks really odd.
Yeah, they
that
need
was
to
a
do
strange
something
moment.
with Will next time. I feel like he needs to drastically grow up in between seasons because
Joyce also annoys the fuck out of me and always has, and it's only Hopper that really makes me bear her.
really, I really
And
like
the characters
her.
have stuck her with. Nah, fucking, she's so annoying.
What annoys you
I've
about
always
it?
kind of. Oh, she's just such a, like, just watching her, she's always just twitchy. She's like a schizophrenic. And it just
I
makes
love
me
it,
really
though.
uncomfortable watching her just all the time fucking, like, she doesn't know what's going on. She's always fucking paranoid and panicking. It's like, hey, Joyce, first of all, shut the fuck up. Just once. Just shut the fuck up. Just relax for a second and think about it first. And she's just going spastic all the time. But, like, I like her relationships more than, I don't like her character by herself. Like, I like her and Hopper. I loved her and Bob. Like, and all that sort of stuff. And all her relationships are great with the characters, with Will and with Jonathan, but she's always just such an annoying character for me.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I don't know, man. That's just me. I just feel like I'm shitting on this whole show.
Yeah,
But
it
I
does
really
sound like it.
like-
It sounds like this. This is really similar to our Game of Thrones one, but it's not. I don't feel the same way at all.
Yeah.
I think it's just annoying that there are a few major criticisms of this season. So that's sort of what we're sort of singling out a bit more than the good stuff, because it's easy to talk about the good stuff. It's good stuff.
Well, the good stuff's the same good stuff the first two seasons had, you know? It's what Stranger Things does best, which is its characters and its uniqueness, its world that it's already established, that it's entertaining to watch and view and be a part of. And even though, like, I'm not from the 80s, somehow it makes you feel nostalgic for a time you were never at. Like, it does what it does well still this season, but I'm talking about what it didn't do as well as the past season, which is, like we talked about, it is the plot. It is the amount of time they're spending on all of the characters rather than having key focuses and then other people feed into that. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I would rather they pick 4 characters next season, that's the focus in terms of the characters, and everyone can kind of fit in around them again. I don't necessarily have to have fucking Lucas's sister have a major fucking role to play. I don't know why they're adding all these new characters in.
Yeah,
There's
that's a good
already
point.
so many characters. Get rid of a few. Get rid of a few.
Yeah, I think they could do. Or yeah, just don't. Not everybody needs to have a main character role. They can be a little background character, but still, people can still like them. I think that works a lot better. It means you have more time. I mean, how would you feel about them doing more episodes? I've seen people talking about that online. That it felt like there wasn't enough episodes. What do you think?
Well, I guess it's true in the sense of it felt really quick. Like, so much was condensed into those 8 episodes. So much happened. That, yeah, it might have helped, not necessarily plot, but maybe more character focuses if there were 2 more episodes, like if it was a 10-episode season. Because that last episode was like 90 minutes. And it's like, well, okay. Why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it just be 2 episodes? And there's like a halfway point where I stopped watching it and I had to go to work. And it was literally a perfect moment. You could have split an episode. Like it went to black for like 5 full seconds and then came back up. And it changed major settings. I'm like, yeah, could have just been at the end of the episode. But,
Yeah.
yeah, and it was also very predictable. Is very, like... Was there anything that happened that you were like, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming? What a shock. Like, even the Hopper thing, I'm like, yeah, he's gone. Yeah, obviously.
I've met...
Because Joyce every person around Joyce dies. Or, like, gets kidnapped or something because she's a menace. She is an absolute menace.
Yeah, you know what I did? I said to Elva while we were watching it, I think it was probably like episode 6 or something, I was like, Hopper's gonna die. And then when it happened, I was like, told you, like 3 hours ago that was gonna happen. But he's also probably not dead. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I thought they were gonna do it as a plot point so that everyone thinks he's dead anyway.
Right.
So it's pretty predictable. It was pretty standard Stranger Things. So I think that's mainly our review there in a nutshell, is that the characters are done really well. The setting and the world building is always phenomenal. And it's always really fun and entertaining to watch. But the plot could do with some work because we got to take this further moving forward so that you don't retread the same stuff. That's it. We could have done that in 2 seconds. Scrap the podcast, Tyler. We'll put out a tweet instead.
Are you right? Okay, good. I'll do that. I'll definitely do that.
That's a good idea.
What did you think of 11? Obviously, she's the main character. We haven't really spent much time talking about her. What did you think?
She was good. I don't know. I think a lot of this is... I'm trying to think, what did I think this season? But it does feel like everything's a bit the same as it was before. So I don't know. What did I think of 11? I think she was good. Like, I liked her before, I like her now. Did they develop her further? I guess a little bit here and there, but it was mostly her relationships to other people and humanizing her a little bit.
Growing as making her a bit more of an individual person herself, figuring out the world a bit more, and you know, she started off the show on her own, but now until Hopper found her, and now she's on her own again, sort of thing. I mean, she's with the Byers family, right? Like that's how. It ended. She's going with them, which, you know, makes sense.
Yeah.
So 11 dies season 4 confirmed because she's hanging around Joyce.
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe.
Just everywhere Joyce goes, awful things follow. She's moving house to get away from it. I was like, you need to get out of there. I agree. Get the fuck out of there. But then, to be fair, wherever she goes, that's where the bad things happen because she's a menace.
She is. It's all Joyce's fault. Maybe she's the real villain of Stranger Things.
I would, you know what? I wouldn't even be fucking surprised. That would make way more sense.
She's secretly been killing all the characters.
I fucking hate her. Well, she technically did kill Hopper. I'm just saying she fucking killed him.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. I mean, she kind of had to do it.
She's definitely the reason Bob died as well. She's just kind of the worst. You know what I mean? Joyce,
for fuck's sake, man.
Yeah. You know what it is? Woman. You know? No, wait, sorry. That's no, I'm just joking. Just joking. I love Joyce. No, I don't like Joyce at all. I really don't.
No, you don't.
Yeah, she kind of annoys me.
I like her.
But okay, that's cool, man.
I think she's great.
Well, what do you want to happen next? You're talking about the plot needs to change. Where do we go? How do you make this show better? How do you make the plot of season 4 not predictable, with some tension, with something new?
Okay, that's a bit much of a question. But I think the main thing I think we need to do is we need to do more with the Upside Down. It's this huge, expansive dimension.
Thank you.
And all that happens every season is little monsters come out of a portal. And I want to see them explore this place. I want to see what's in here.
Yes.
Why does it exist? What other monsters do we have? What's controlling it?
We didn't really even see the Upside Down this season.
They didn't even say the words Upside Down in this season. I noticed. I made sure because I was like, I remember it was like midway through season 1. I was like, no one, season 1, episode 1. I was like, no one's mentioned the Upside Down yet. I was like, I'm going to see if they say it. And they didn't say it ever. No, not one character even fucking said it. It was so strange. But that's what we need more of. We got to see the Upside Down. It's a huge thing. That is a huge fucking thing. I can see, you know, as many fucking big flesh monsters as you want, but that fucking, you know, alternate dimension is so fucking interesting. Do more with that. That's what we need. And it would also raise the stakes and make it way larger on scale. Is, you know, it's less of fighting these individual monsters and now it's taking on the whole sort of this whole other world. That would be far more interesting.
And why is it just under Hawkins? Why the fuck? Is it just under fucking Hawkins?
I assume it's not. I assume that's where like the
no, James,
reality
that's
splits.
Where it is. No, you idiot.
That's the doorway? That's where the doorway is.
No, you idiot. That's where it is. It's just in Hawkins, obviously.
Okay, that's fair.
Even the Russians had to build a base under Hawkins to open it up.
They did have to do that.
Yeah, you idiot.
That's because that's where the door is. What if, you know what it's like? It's like having a big lake that's like frozen over and you enter into the lake through like a little hole that you cut out of the ice and then you're stuck under the water and you can't get out anywhere else except for that one hole. So if you go through the portal in Hawkins and then you go to Russia in the Upside Down, you can't get out. You have to travel all the way back again to get out. You're just stuck in this world. That'd be interesting though, to see what the rest of the world looks like in this weird alternate dimension.
Is it the whole world or is it just Hawkins? Because
it's the whole
Hawkins.
It's the whole world.
Nah, it's just Hawkins.
That makes no sense.
Have you ever seen anywhere else, you fucking idiot?
No, but have you ever seen anywhere else in the show, in the real world? So is the whole world is just Hawkins and Russia?
Yeah, have you seen some towns around? You even saw Russia in this season? you ever seen anywhere but
Well,
like
that's
the
it.
woods
That's
of
all that
Hawkins.
exists, though. That's all that exists.
No, you idiot. It's just
What?
Hawkins, obviously.
Why would that be the case? That makes no sense.
Nah, you're an idiot.
So
huh?
what happens when you get to the edge? What happens? Is there maybe it's a big floating island?
It's flat. Hey, man, it's flat.
What does that mean?
It's flat. You just fall off.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So you just fall into a big dark pit.
You just fall, man. And then you're back in Hawkins.
You're always in Hawkins. You can't escape. That's what's going to happen to Joyce when she's trying to leave.
Yeah, I was about to say she's driving to Hawkins, then it comes back, welcome back to you know that sign? It's like, thanks for staying to visit Hawkins, come back soon. And then she just keeps driving straight, and then it's the sign of, welcome to Hawkins. She's like, wait, what the fuck? And then she realizes her whole life's a show. It's like the Truman Show. And her whole fucking life is in Hawkins. And it's all just an elaborate like documentary about her life.
About Joyce.
About Joyce.
Oh, yeah. She is a schizophrenic. That's what it is.
They brought a schizophrenic. They're like, this fucking bitch believes in all these conspiracies and shit. They're like, let's stick her into some like fucking town, give her a kid and stuff, and just make shit happen to her. See what fucking happens.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I wouldn't even be mad if that's what happened.
Yeah, if that's how the show ends. That's how it's like that episode of Black Mirror where there's like that girl who wakes up every day and she has to relive like getting chased around that town. It's like that, but with Joyce and Hawkins.
Every so often they just throw some fucking weird monsters at her and see how the schizophrenic deals with it.
She's killed 2 husbands, 2 boyfriends. She's killed 2 boyfriends. Guys, we can't give her another love interest. They've both literally died. Like she's legitimately killed them both. Like,
man, that's fucking great.
Like no one's gonna take the acting job after 2 of them have died. No one's taking it.
Oh man, that's fucking great. That's hilarious.
That's so funny.
But talking about the Upside Down though, I am interested in why it is the way that it is, because it's not like this. It looks like the real world. Like you've got buildings and roads and traffic lights and stuff, but there's just nobody living there but these weird monsters. Like, it's so strange. When the fuck did that reality come into being? And, like, why is it like that? And did anybody ever live there? Or, like, what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. Right. I want to know.
I want to know, too.
Put all the characters there. Just make them go there and let's explore it and see what it's like.
Well, that's what I've been thinking as well. I'm on the same page as you. That's what I was... This whole season, I was like, where's the Upside Down? Why are we not exploring it? Why are we not, like, learning more about it? And why has no one even said it?
Like, it's weird. We see it like once or twice. Billy goes there, and that's it.
That's sort of it. That's it. And then he talks to himself.
He does do that, yeah. He does talk to himself. I want to know why that happened and how that happened, because it must have just been in his head. So like he didn't actually go to the Upside Down, because the Mind Flayer already got him. And then he drove away and went on the phone, and then he had, like, this vision. So I guess he didn't even go to the Upside Down. He just sort of saw it.
Yeah, it's just through visions, yeah.
Yeah, so, that's, yeah.
And,
let's have people
And they really overused Eleven's seeing powers, too, as well.
You think
like,
so?
it used to be, like, a big deal the first 2 seasons when she, like, see shit. And then in this season, she's just, like, spying on the guys whenever she wants.
To be fair, though, they did do it a lot, and there were consequences to that by the end, because she can't even use her powers now.
That's true. That's interesting plot point. Yeah, was 11 losing her powers, and
she's
like,
gonna get them back, though. They are gonna come back, though.
Yeah, of course they're gonna come back, but how are they gonna come back? What adversity will she face, James?
Trying to get something off of a high shelf.
It's just in Hawkins, all right, idiot.
Oh god. Yeah, what's it gonna be like when she's not in Hawkins? How's she gonna deal with that?
It's not possible. Everywhere's Hawkins.
The planet of Hawkins.
Have you ever seen anywhere else? No. There's Hawkins and there's Upside Down Hawkins. And then when they tried to notice in the edit when they left Hawkins, like, thanks for visiting Hawkins, it just cuts back to when they were still in Hawkins again. And
oh my god, that was so fucking weird. Yeah, that was such a weird editing choice.
What a weird edit. Let's have the goodbyes. Let's have them leave, and then let's end it though. Let's come back before it happened. And then Hawkins. Because you can't. You don't leave Hawkins. You don't leave Hawkins. And you know what? That wasn't even a cutback. That was literally a chronological thing that happened. Because they will have to relive that moment. That was them reliving that moment. Because like
they
once they left
can't leave,
Hawkins,
they're
like,
not allowed.
Yeah. It's like one of those moments where until you live that day correctly, you have to keep reliving that day.
Yeah,
and they're not
Groundhog
supposed
Day.
to leave Hawkins. Yeah, it's like Groundhog Day. But it's like leaving Hawkins. And they got to realize like, oh shit, we can't leave Hawkins. That's what it was. And because every time they go to leave Hawkins, it's like, oh well, there's nothing else exists out there, so back to the start, and then they have to relive. So then I want first episode of season 4 to be that scene 17 times until they figure it out. Until 11 goes, I feel like I've done this before, like the 17th time, and I want it to be exactly the same the first 10 times.
Oh Jesus Christ!
And then they don't leave Hawkins, and Will's grown another foot as well.
He's like 6 foot by the end of the first episode.
And like he has to talk like he goes with the dude's voice. And he's got clearly like 5 o'clock shadow, like the most clear beard. They're like, dude, it's just like Seth Rogen. Like all of a sudden, it's just recast as like Seth Rogen's playing Will Barr. It's like, what happened?
Oh Jesus Christ! That was that was a really weird ending though. That was so strange. I thought it was an accident at first. Like, why
or does it make the most sense now that you're realizing my Hawkins is
maybe it does make the most sense.
Makes
I mean,
the most
if
sense.
anybody's going to believe that and buy that theory, it's got to be Joyce Byers, so...
Because she's a fucking
Makes
moron,
sense.
the worst. She's such a skits. Stupid bitch.
Oh, God. I'd tell you what, I would love to see that, though. I would love to see that the Hawkins is just... You can't leave.
The Hawkins.
It's a show set in Hawkins, but it's got nothing to do with the Stranger Things cast. They don't even know about the other dimension or any of these monsters, but they just can't leave. That's the storyline.
Let's see if we can make some stupid schizo bitch believe an 11-year-old girl has superpowers.
Oh God, that's what the lab is for. When she discovers the lab in season 2 and everything, and like she's obsessed with that. That's actually where that's like where they are. Like that's their base of operations. That's where they're filming from. And she finds out, and they're like, "Oh shit, we've got to make this look like it's part of the whole monster storyline." She can't find out that she's in a fake world, and that's why that gets destroyed. And she's obsessed with that in season 3. You know what? Sounds about right to me.
I told you, man. I told you, and that's why I hate Joyce.
That's why.
That's the reason.
Because you can't leave Hawkins.
Well, there's nowhere else, is there? Like, there's just Hawkins.
Have they ever mentioned anywhere else?
Russia
And Hawkins.
Yeah. We've now seen somewhere in Russia, apparently, and then Hawkins. But so the post-credit scene, let's be serious for a second. No, I mean,
I thought we were.
This is, Hawkins is the world. Idiot. But post-credit scene, you go to Russia, and they go... and they feed some fucking Russian prisoner to a demodog. And
was it not a demigorgon? Because it could stand on its back
yeah,
legs.
could stand on its feet. Yeah, fucking demogorgon.
Yeah, get it right.
They didn't even use the word demogorgon other than in a flashback as well.
They said, I think they said it like... Did they not say it? Like when someone was referencing like... When that thing happened.
Demodogs. Dustin
maybe
said
they did.
demodogs once.
Yeah, maybe they did. Oh, that's weird. They need to use some more words that...
They need to use some more words.
We need some more. We need some more words. Stop saying Mind Flayer all the time. Start saying Demogorgon. For fuck's sake, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so they go as they're walking past, not the American, and then they go to the next cell and grab the Russian guy. So obviously, that's fucking Hopper, right?
Yeah, you think so?
Obviously.
Imagine if it isn't.
Imagine if it's just
Joyce.
some guy.
Oh,
No,
God.
it's just some guy.
It's just David Smith. Just some guy. The American. It's just totally irrelevant.
It's like he just happened to be American. No.
Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely Hopper. Because we never see Hopper die. They made a point of showing a bunch of random Russian scientists die. But then we don't see Hopper die. And he just isn't there. Where did he go, though? Where do you think he went? How do you think he ended up in that Russian cell?
The Upside Down.
You think he... How? Do you think he climbed through the door? Or, like, how?
Hawkins, man.
It doesn't make sense because the door was like so far away from the platform, and what did he do? Jump off the platform, or maybe because he was the other side of the explosion? Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he did end up in the Upside Down, and then he got out of the Upside Down. But in that case, I want to see what Hopper was doing in the Upside Down. That'd be more interesting than the season that we got. Have Hopper in the Upside Down, a whole season of that, so we can see it. But I don't know. I don't think that he could have gone in, because that would have been really interesting to see. And if they skip over that whole thing, that'd be strange.
Hawkins, man. Hawkins. What can you do?
What can you do? Not leave. That's for sure.
So stupid.
I want someone to make a video on that, the Hawkins theory. And it's really, really serious.
I believe it now. I'm at the point where I think that's the legitimate storyline of this show.
They were trying to tell us with that final cut. They were trying to tell us. That's why
the Blair Witch Project, yeah.
That's why they teleport back. It wasn't obvious. It was just subtle. It was done in the editing.
So stupid. So fucking
No,
stupid.
it's not. It's not. It's really good.
Oh god.
So okay, right. Anyway, what do you think they're doing though, moving forward? Where do you think we're going?
Well, I think they're just going to expand outside. They're teasing an expansion outside Hawkins, right? So like it's more of the world.
You think
except
they're going
it
to
won't
do
be, and it'll just be Hawkins.
I don't want them to expand. I want it to stay. I don't need them to expand.
Well, you don't have to worry about it, do you? Because there's nowhere else.
I get the real world in real life. I want Hawkins in my show.
Yeah. I just want Hawkins. Yeah.
That's why I watch it. I mean, they'll obviously have to come back. Like that'll be the story. It'll be like, even though they leave like Joyce and
the
Will
first
and
episode of the season's
everybody.
like, I know they were in other places, but they all come back.
We don't even get to
For,
see
like,
the other
Christmas.
place.
They all come back
They
for
just
Christmas.
drive-
Remember, they were
you see them
teasing. They were
driving in.
teasing it. They were teasing
Do
it
you
to play
think
with all
that's
their
where
toys
where
on
it'll be
Christmas.
set? But they're gonna be like 20 when the next season comes out. Most of them are like 18 now.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
18
they are.
now. No, they're not.
The guy that plays Lucas is 18.
Bullshit. He is not 18. He looks.
Maybe he's nearly 18. He's 17 at the very least. Sorry. Google it. And I think the girl that plays Max is as well.
No, they're not.
Let me Google it. What's his name? Caleb McLaughlin.
He was born in 2001, so he's
He is-
18 in
Yep.
October.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's
Holy
weird. Yeah, it's really
shit.
weird.
Max is born in 2002 April, so she is 18 next year. So she just turned 17.
Still getting
Also, shit. But to be fair, they did film that season like a year ago, so they weren't like, I'm thinking about how they looked when I just saw them, and I'm like, they can't be 18, but they're not.
True. But
But
now,
then season 4, they will be.
now they are, and they
yeah.
gotta be like 14. No, 13. If they're gonna do it Christmas of the same year, that's only 6 months. So but they will have aged like
so
2
hilarious.
years.
So Mike, he's 18 next December, so he's 17 in December, so he's 16 right now.
Yeah.
So
How old's the guy who plays Will? What's his fucking name? It's Noah Schnapp. Oh, he's 14. The fuck? He looks older than the rest of them.
2004 Yeah, he does look older than the rest of them. He's 14, turns 15 in October. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, he did look the youngest, like, at the start, to be fair. Like, in the first season, he definitely looked the youngest.
Yeah. Now he just looks... Yeah. I mean, it's weird because I guess everybody else has sort of been allowed to grow up a bit. It's just Will looks like they're still trying to make him look really young.
Well, this is the thing here. You've got Millie Bobby Brown, she's 15. She only just turned 15.
Oh, really? I thought she was the same age. Okay.
No, she's born 2004. February 2004.
2004? That's so fucking weird that people were born in 2004.
It is weird. It is weird. And that she's famous and people like are in love with this girl. And I'm like, hey, she's 15, huh?
Would you not... Oh, you mean adults are in love with her?
Yeah, well... Have you
What do
seen
you
Drake?
mean? Oh, God. Yeah, he texts her and talks about
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what she said they talk about, but it was fucking weird, whatever it was.
Yes, hey, Drake, stop texting her, huh?
Stop texting Millie Bobby Brown late at night. Hey, you
Stop
up? God damn it,
Hey,
Drake.
I want to read those texts so bad.
Oh, I would love to. Oh,
How fucking dumb.
God damn it.
How dumb.
That's going to be strange to see, though, next season. To see the age gaps start to show, because there are some age gaps there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. It's definitely going to be weird to... Yeah, it's definitely going to get fucking weird, isn't it? Fucking hell.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do this, especially if they are going to set it, because that's what I thought when I watched it. It's like, okay, so they're going to set the next one at Christmas, and it'll be just same like 1985. But if it depends how long are they going to spend between seasons this time? Is it going to be like another like 18 months, or what are we doing? Because this is going to be weird if they're still meant to be 13, but they all look like fucking adults. It's going to be really weird.
Other than 11 and... Well, even I was going to say Will, but Will looks fucking old as shit.
Yeah, he needs to get a fucking haircut next season, because it's not working for him. It worked for him when he looked like a fucking 12-year-old, but now it looks so strange, and he needs to wear some different clothes. Just sort that out. But yeah, because they can't, if they're gonna set it at Christmas as well, which I think that they should do, because they've sort of been doing it, you know, like picking specific settings. It's never just sort of ambiguously at some point in a year. It's always like Halloween or Christmas or 4th of July or whatever. So I think that if they're going to set it at Christmas, it kind of would make sense to do this coming Christmas rather than like a Christmas like 2 years afterwards, like in 87 or whatever. Because then it's like, oh, so what did they do for the other Christmases? This isn't really that important if they've, you know, this is not their first Christmas away, and like they've been away for 2 years. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do with this. Or maybe they will just set it the same year.
Millie Bobby Brown has 22 million Instagram followers.
That's a lot of followers.
She's 15.
That is a fair few followers. Look, I assume that they're all of those followers are 15 or younger.
I think you're wrong. I think you're very wrong. Hang on. First of all, my mother follows her, so there's that.
That's alright though. That's your mother. That makes sense.
That's alright. Billy, the Team Tynamite captain, he follows her.
That's a bit weird.
I got quite a few friends, mostly girls, a couple of guys.
Let me see.
This too many people follow her, huh?
Let me have a look.
Yeah,
see if anyone I follow follows her.
Yeah, it's weird. Imagine following a 15-year-old girl and liking her photos on Instagram.
Nobody I know follows her.
Nobody you know
I just have
her.
normal friends, I guess.
You know, first of all, you
a
don't
bunch of
have
celebrities.
friends. You don't.
That's
have
why.
friends.
That's what it is.
That's why nobody you know.
That's what it is.
Follows her. Because who do you know? There's me and there's Elva and your brother. There's the three people you know.
That's true. That's true. Those are the three people that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of celebrities
Ethan.
that I can see.
You know of Ethan.
I know of Ethan, yeah.
You've never talked to him, so there's that.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird that she has that many fucking followers. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's a big fucking show.
Yeah.
And people, it's because people see these kids whenever people see kids in movies and things. I guess I don't know. People just see them as they're celebrities, not kids. So I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's very strange.
It is strange because imagine if she wasn't in a TV show, and she had and you were following as a grown man her
just
Instagram. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it still feels weird to me. It's still not okay. Yeah, it's still not okay.
I guess you could follow her Instagram because you really love her acting.
Yeah, this is what we do as film connoisseurs. We break down 15-year-old girls' Instagrams.
Oh, Jesus.
This is great. This is great content.
This is the clubhouse seeping into cinema room here.
This is just us, a couple of silly geese. Just
we try to pretend we're film critics, but really, we just like talking shit. That's
remember
really what
when we used to talk about Assassin's Creed? Like, that's what we did. Like, that's all we did. Like, all we did was talk about this stuff. It is, and it isn't. But yeah, like...
That is what we used to do, yeah.
We used to just talk about that. And now we pretty much just talk about Marvel. And then occasionally other things.
It's great. That's our podcast.
Yeah.
It's what we try our best.
Yeah, and then when we're like trying to be serious and like, all right, we break down movies and TV shows and games and shit. Millie Bobby Brown has 22 million followers,
and you can't read Hawkins. That's our.
This girl's selling her bath water. What the fuck? Like, you know, like, what are we talking about? What the fuck are we talking about? Anywho. Anything else you want to talk about with you want to see next season? We want to see more of the Upside Down.
Yeah.
Hopper's obviously not dead. Rush is more involved. Hopefully, more of the Upside Down, more places other than just Hawkins, even though it's not possible. Because the Hawkins theory.
Yeah, true. How did 11 get out in season 2? When she was like in... Where was she? It's a big city. I don't remember what the city was, though.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen. No. Yeah, that was just one of her visions.
No, it didn't. Yeah, makes sense. She fabricated it.
It's a lie. It's a lie. It's just a story they told to Joyce about what happened.
It's convincing there's other places.
But do you know the funny thing is, like, Winona Ryder is so Joyce. Like, she's such a schizo. Like, I'd almost believe they, like, tell her that this is really happening. Like, Winona Ryder, the actress.
And everyone calls her Joyce, and she's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because she's such a fucking weirdo. And then she's, like, accepting awards for the show, and she's just looking so fucking skits. And they've got her, like, on all the Adderall.
That's her other personality. That's why she's schizophrenic. She's herself, but she's also Joyce. And sometimes she flicks between the two. They have to catch her on the right day when they're filming.
Yeah. And they're like, why is Hopper yelling at the Golden Globes? Where's Bob?
Oh, God.
This isn't Hawkins.
Yes, it is Joyce, remember. You can't leave.
This is the mall. It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
This is our film podcast.
This is so fucking stupid. Fucking Winona Ryder, the stupid bitch.
Oh, God. I need someone to take this clip and just post this on Twitter, just this clip, and show everybody what these podcasts really are. This is, yeah. Oh, God. I'm trying my best to be a professional film critic here. I'm really trying my best.
So fucking stupid. So dumb.
I'm just imagining the crew trying to convince her that it's real.
She's a fucking idiot. And they're all talking about her. And she's got no fucking clue.
Oh, God.
Oh, fuck. Hey, Bob, you look like the guy from Lord of the Rings. Has anyone ever fucking told you that?
Oh, Christ. It really hurts.
I'm fucking crying. So dumb. Oh, fuck. That went way too far. It's gotta be tangent. It's gotta be the top 3 the dumbest tangents we've ever had.
It's funny to me because it's not Clubhouse. It's not Corona Club. It's Cinema Room. It's our serious breakdown podcast.
Yeah, fuck.
Oh god.
We have done 200 podcasts plus in our careers, and this is top 3 dumbest things we've ever talked about. Fuck. Holy shit. I haven't laughed that hard in forever. That was fucking amazing.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
That really fucking hurt my ribs.
Oh, that really hurt me. I'm legitimately crying.
Oh, do you know, the best feeling ever is after you've laughed a lot, being able to breathe normally.
Yeah.
It's just like a fucking godsend. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh god.
Jesus.
Okay.
God, okay.
Okay, I think we're done. I think we're fucking done. Let's just wrap this fucking thing up. I think we've said all we need to say about Stranger Things Season 3. We liked it, but we didn't.
We liked it, but we didn't like it. Oh god, I can't wait to come up with a name for this podcast.
The Hawkins conspiracy theory.
It's true.
Winona Ryder, a stupid bitch.
Winona Ryder believes that Stranger Things is real? Question mark. Fuck. Not again.
Is not a Stranger Things 3 poster. It's just fucking her stupid face at the Golden Globes.
With crazy eyes.
And mouth is wide open.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Fuck. Oh, they're so fucking dumb. Oh, stop this.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, stop this.
But that's Stranger Things Season 3. Thank you all so much for listening to this podcast. It's been my pleasure. That's everything. We'll see you bloody... Well, actually, hang on. Let me do the bloody producers first. We got our producers here, our best men. King Richard III, Kassassin, ArunWyn, Seth, and Josh Devillier. Thank you all so much for being our producers.
And he says men because there's no women.
Not
they're not allowed. It's just a real cockfest.
There just aren't any.
Just a real cockfest, yeah.
Yeah, we did have one for a while. What was her name? Lauren something? And then she left, so I don't know.
She was like 45-year-old woman, and she was just so weird. It's just fucking Winona Ryder. One of her other personalities.
Winona Ryder's other personality, Lauren from As Always.
Do you think my boyfriend looks like Sam from Lord of the Rings? That's a topic.
That's a good voice thread.
They're fucking so stupid.
God.
So fucking stupid.
Oh, Jesus.
Stop me from talking. Stop it.
I don't know how we're ever going to win this fucking podcast. Okay, let me try. We'll see you in a week's time for... it depends where you're listening to this to. If you listen to this on... I think it's just...
There's only one place you're listening to this, in Hawkins. That's the only place you're listening to this. Because there's nowhere else. So there's not...
Oh, God. If you listen to this in Hawkins, we'll see you in a week for Kilgana Club.
In Hawkins. And we'll look 7 years older. We do.
Oh, I'm never going to be able to watch this show seriously ever again.
This is a fucking stupid show. Winona Ryder.
And a bunch of kids that are kids, but they look like adults. Oh, God.
And a 15-year-old that's followed by 22 grown adults.
Oh, Jesus.
This is the dumbest show. Oh, I fucking hate Stranger Things.
I've convinced myself this show is dumb.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't breathe.
I can't.
Oh, I'm trying so hard.
Have we ever laughed this much, like, uncontrollably? This has been like
God.
10 minutes.
I haven't laughed like this since I was like 10 years old.
It's about Stranger Things.
not come on this podcast today and think I would laugh this much. I didn't think I would laugh at all. What the fuck is going on?
This is the most fun I've ever had in my life. Holy shit.
Most fun you've ever had.
I've had this is the best day of my life. Talking about strangers. 3. Winona Ryder.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's been such a long fucking day. It's been such a long week. I've been so exhausted. I needed this. This is me being so silly because I've got no fucking energy left. I'm running on no sleep the past 7 fucking days.
Oh, God.
And I just watched 13-year-olds played by 18-year-olds fight a CGI zombie and Winona Ryder kill another boyfriend.
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Oh, it's fucking dumb.
Oh.
Just the ending where they cut back to Hawkins.
That's the fucking weirdest thing. Like, you would think if we talk about the end, we'd be talking about the really emotional letter that Hopper wrote.
Oh, we didn't even address it.
We didn't even talk about it.
We didn't even
We just talk about how it cuts back and then still.
I cried. I legitimately cried. But
yeah,
it's just stupid.
I can't even take it seriously. I will never be able to watch that clip and that scene without laughing at how dumb it is.
She's already read the letter, but just reread it again.
She's just read it again.
It's Groundhog Day.
She's going to live with Winona Ryder. God, why?
She's going to live with Winona Ryder. It's a fucking...
Who killed her fucking adopted dad?
Hey, James and Tyler. Do you think my daughter has 22 million Instagram followers? Thanks from Lauren.
Oh, God.
Stop me. I'm talking.
God.
My brain is on silly mode. I'm just being so silly.
It's also so hot in this fucking room. I closed my window, turned all my fans off. It's really fucking
Turn the
hot.
fan off. You turn the fucking fan off.
I'm sweating so much.
I turned my fan on mid-podcast. Because I was like, fuck the rules. This is Hawkins. That's what I want.
Why is this the podcast?
Why is this so funny?
I just can't stop. Everything's funny.
Everything.
God, I can't. Oh, God.
Oh, holy fucking shit. It's been 15 minutes of this.
That's our whole criticism and everything just thrown out the fucking window. No one's gonna listen to that. Oh, God. Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna read this fucking list.
We'll see it next week for Kill Connor Club. Oh, God, no, stop. I'm not talking again. I'm going to be silent. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna try my best. Okay.
You read the list. You read the list.
Okay, we'll see you in a week for Kill Connor Club. Well, no, we won't. If you're listening to it on Patreon, we'll see you in a week for Clubhouse. If you're listening on YouTube, we'll see you in a week for Kill Connor Club. So there's that. And if you want to get access, to the Kill Connor Clubhouse exclusively on Patreon.com/as always, as well as early access to the Cinema Room podcast, this podcast that we have here, where we talk about movies and TV shows and video games, and we break them down as well as we possibly can. we do our best as film connoisseurs, and I want to say a big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters that are pledging $5 or more. Thank you all so much. You're really great. And to name you all, Oh, Jesus Christ. We've got King Richard III, Kassassin, Elznico91, Seth, Ballsack47, Josh Devillier, Damian, Billy the Team Tournament Captain Robertson, Tman or Travis, Baby Boy the Savior of the Story Thread, KEMOSABE Gamer, Casey Wood, Pink Flame 313, Adam Sundling, Alfie Rowsell, Jamie Brown, Lumistrad, Mary5380, Is Gay, ArunWyn, Fat Fuck Cuck, Brendon BQ Overlord, RAVJAI, Julli, Craig, Oscar, Benedict Parker Returns, James and Lad, Connor Durose Bully in the Alley, Zahir the FAT Gamer, Max H, Gene, Zeek Collins, Son of a Bitch, Ogeaidogo, George, Dammit Glenn, The Furious Coco, ACMJS, Kyle, Sandlord Pussy Slayer, S. Jaws, Marcus Blackburn, fucking hell, Emil Katborg, Joshua Mora, Ginko Swag, Master Bat, Yazen, Joe the Sexy Boi Smith, Joe A.K.A FoundedScarab, H+12 I Got Lumbago, Alfie Robert, Brian Ford, Cashbert, Milk Boy, Shields, Fishy or Ethan Woodgates, Andreu Martinez, and Fanaclers on YouTube. Oh, Jesus Christ. Thank you all so much for your continued support here on our podcast that we love. Thank you a lot. We'll see you in a week's time if you're listening on Patreon for Kill Connor Club. We'll see you in 2 weeks. No, wait, we won't. We'll see you in a week's time. Fucking hell. If you're listening, whatever. We'll see you later. We'll have a podcast up at some point. See ya, boys.
See you down the road in Hawkins sometime, down the mall.
No! Oh, fuck. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.